Hello, I thought I would show y'all the fireplace that we put in when we took out our wood stove. I love wood stoves. I someday want an Amish wood cook stove, maybe in my kitchen or some other place in the house. But in this room, it made the room cramped and it was a lot safer to put the fireplace in. So we bumped it out so it goes outside. I won't show you that because it's freezing cold outside. But this is what we came up with. My son and I picked out the materials. My husband and I picked out the fireplace, and we did have a stonemason install the stone. There's good and bad. There's things I love about this, and there's things that kind of went wrong, and I'm going to share all of that. So the trim around the stone is some leftover or some actually clearanced out cabinet trim that we had not used on another project. And because the floor is acacia that my husband and I put in a couple years ago, that trim had a color that does pull out from the floor, and that gave us a good border, and it was already finished. The stone on the hearth is flagstone. It's gold and silver, and I used a combination of it so that it wasn't all one or the other. The back is split face fieldstone, and I believe this comes out of Minnesota or Wisconsin. And one of the mistakes, well, there's a couple of different things with the stone. Most people don't notice it, and I'm grateful for that. And I do love the fireplace, and it's been an amazing upgrade in the house and in the living room so that we have more space. And like I said, it is safer. But there were two gentlemen working on it, and one was working on this side and one was working on that side. And if you notice, the stones on the right, they go vertical. And the stones on the left, I have to move this to show y'all, they go more horizontal. And they were working on it at the same time, but they each had their own style and their way of installing it, and so that happened. The other thing is they weren't supposed to have the same colors next to each other, and that happened a lot on this fireplace. Again, I noticed it, most people don't, but that was because they were getting the stone installed, but they weren't artistically looking at the fireplace. I think there's things when you do projects like this, you need to have things in writing. You need to have some things really spelled out, really drawn out, maybe photos, and you need to be on site. Like, it's just, and you really just have to sometimes stomp your feet and say, this is how it's got to be, because that wasn't supposed to happen with all the same colors together, but it did. And it's set in stone forever. So we're going to look at it for the rest of our lives, probably. We probably aren't going to redo it for sure. So I don't know where the tools are from. We've been through more than one set of fireplace tools. They're good to get at the end of the fire, like winter, at the end of the winter season. You can sometimes get a nice set on sale. The mantle is, I think, limestone. And we had this cut that, well, you can get this choice or a smooth cut. This looks more natural, I thought. And one of the mistakes that I made that really bugs me, and I just have to live with it, I may be able to fix it by painting it, is I put the switch here so that it's like in the middle of my stone. It makes me crazy. Like, what a horrible design failure right there. I didn't have everything spelled out. I didn't realize there was going to be a switch for the fireplace. The electrician calls me in and says, we have to put the switch in. Do you want it a few inches this way or a few inches that way? And I'm on the fly trying to think, where does the switch go that I didn't realize was part of the fireplace? And not a very good designer, right? When you don't have all those details and didn't figure them out. But, so I thought it was going to hide. I'm thinking it's going to hide in the shadow under the hearth. Well, or the mantle rather. It doesn't. It's glaring in my face. The other option, because I do have windows here flanking the fireplace, the other option would have been to put it above the mantle in behind everything here. And because we don't adjust it very often, it turns on automatically. That would have been fine. We wouldn't have bumped it. You would have had to be careful when you were adjusting it, but we don't really adjust it. So that was a couple of things that could have went better. The other thing is that there wasn't supposed to be man-made cuts on anything but the outer edge, and those were done. And I don't know how to fix that unless I try to go chip things, and I really don't want to do that because I feel like I could totally wreck something doing that, to kind of take that sharp edge off. The stuff on the fireplace, we have our Hanukkahs, greenhouse thermometers, which are offline right now because we don't have anything in the greenhouse. And this is a beautiful wood carving I picked up somewhere. I don't remember where I bought it, and it says in Hebrew, Shema Yisrael, which means Hear, O Israel. The clock was my grandfather's that my mother gave me recently. And this little seashell, you see it's a heart. The Father shows me hearts everywhere. The Father and the Son. So that was a trip to Florida, and we went to the beach. We were visiting family, and the first seashell I found was this little heart. And then I have this little mechanical bug, was a gift from my grandfather when I was a child. Then that sign says love grows here. And this beautiful sign, hallelujah, I bought at Sukkot or Feast of Tabernacles marketplace. And then this reminds me of the tree of life. And then this is another heart that just came from a scrap of wood. I don't know if I can get that to focus right, if y'all can see the heart in that. Maybe. It's a heart shape. There you go. That's better. And hearts can show up in anywhere. Maybe someday I'll do a slideshow of hearts. So that is our fireplace. Oh, and the color on the walls is quaking grass. And you can see this was my husband's solution. I'll show this up close a little bit better. This was the trim that my husband came up with for the side, like how to transition from this cement mortar around the fireplace rocks to the drywall wall. And that's what he came up with, and I think it looks fantastic. And he did the trim work in here. And then this is the famous, well, we hope it's famous someday, was formerly known as tongue and groove paneling, and we modified it to become our baseboard. So I hope this blesses you and you are inspired. Blessings and shalom.